talk show. Joined right now by Robert Cray, who's going to be in town June 18th at the Tralf Music Hall, and he was just talking to us before the break how they kind of have a loose show as far as one master set list. Instead of this is what we're playing tonight, here's a slew of 100 tunes, and you're just going to pick and choose how the crowd feels, how you feel, whatever you want to play, right?
Exactly, that's what we do.
That,
and so, you know, every night is going to be different, you know, and for us, it keeps us on our toes and keeps us laughing, and you know, somebody from the audience might shout out something, and it just might be the right time to do that song. So that's how we work it.
And you know, like you said, it keeps everything fresh every single night, and even, you know, you pick that one song that maybe you don't do regularly, you might end up with a crazy spontaneous arrangement of that no one's ever heard before. That's really what live music is about, I think.
Yeah, the one where you don't remember it completely.
Yeah, you know, I think I got it. Oh, geez. What's the bridge? Oh, geez.
That happens. And we make the best of it, too. It's a lot of fun. I think that's the way it should be.
So do I agree with you. And even for the audience that's listening to you, you know, you're playing the 15th, you're playing the 16th, then you're playing the 18th here in Buffalo. You know, the guys that are online on the blogs, you know, each of them have an independent show, something that's geared toward them, something that, you know, geared toward you, you know, whatever you felt like that night. And I think it's more special for the audience that way, too.
I think so, too. You know, and then, people who come and see the shows maybe on consecutive nights don't see the same thing. And then also, on top of that, the band's not in this kind of, you know, automatic mode.
Yeah, phone it in mode. Yeah. And we've seen, I've been around music a long time, you've been around music a long time, and I generally don't see it as much anymore, but I still see that phone it in, you know, gig every once in a while. It's like, wow, why am I here?
Yeah. I just want to avoid that and just, you know, take away the, you know, that option.
So on top of the radio show, I have a really big independent music store in town, and I've had a relationship with Fender for the past 20 years. Tell me about your relationship with Fender.
Well, my relationship with Fender goes back to where I was contacted by a guy named John Grunder, who worked at Fender years ago, and we talked about making a Robert Cray model. And I think the process took maybe a couple of years for it to come to realization. But what we did is we went through a couple of different Strats that I own, a 58 Strat and a 1964 Strat. And what I wanted was the combination of the two necks, you know, kind of like the middle of the kind of two necks, the radius and the width and all that. And then we worked on some pickups, custom-made pickups. And then after that, all the other stuff was cosmetic. But the Fender guitar is a nice workhorse.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and you know, much to your credit, you know, artist guitars from Fender are serious artists. I mean, and that shows the caliber of player that you are. I think it's interesting that Fender. There was that period where they got a decent amount of artists, and they really don't do much with artists anymore. As far as, you know, I think they're pretty content with the artist roster that they have. Every once in a while, they'll try to stay current with something, you know. But you know, the artist roster that's been in play is the artist roster for a while.
Right. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's an amazing company. It's still my favorite guitar company, and you know, it's just an amazing company. And like you say, it's just you know, a formidable, you know, touring road piece of equipment.
It is. It really is. The Stratocaster is my favorite guitar, and it gives me everything I need.
It's funny because, you know, I'm a huge Fender guy. I'm also a guitar player, but I just can't play Strats to save my life. I'm a Telecaster guy. I cannot play Strats to save my life. I hit the switch. I always change pickup selectors on there. The middle pickup, if I'm doing any hybrid picking, the middle pickup gets in my way. I just, honestly, and it makes me so mad because I hear guys like you and I hear guys like Knopfler, and then, you know, guys like Jeff Beck that just make Strats sound so good. And it's just like, man, I wish I could.
Well, I think that's great. I think that shows that, you know, there is a difference between the two models. And there is. I mean, there's a whole different sound. There's a whole different feel. And it's a whole different way of playing the instrument. So it's pretty cool.
The funny thing is, truly, honestly, and we're obviously on the phone right now, I'm like a Neanderthal. So the Telecaster fits me better because it's really just a big hunk of wood and very little things going on. So I think that that's really what it comes down to. Is you know,
Uh-huh.
if you're built like a gorilla, the Telecaster's your guitar. If you're more of a finesse guy, then you can play a Strat.
Well, all I know is like, gives me the Strat gives me what I want, so it's cool.
Awesome, awesome. So talk to me more about the new album. It's coming out August 28th. 16 studio albums. Good lord, you just must tour and release albums.
Well, I mean, it's been, I think the last studio record came out in 2009, so it's about time. We released a live album a couple of years ago, but yeah, it's pretty consistent in a sense. I mean, we're not too long between albums, even though this is a while between studio records. But on this record, we recorded back in March, and we worked for the first time with the producer Kevin Shirley, and we've got 10 tracks on this record, and most all the 9 of the tracks are penned by the guys in the band and myself, and with the exception of one of the tunes, which is an old Bobby Parker song called Blues Get Off My Shoulder. And the album is called Nothing But Love. And the album touches on, of course, relationships, love, and then also more current events like foreclosure and political, subjects and things like that. So it's got a little bit of everything on it.
Well, in current day, there's a lot of things that the blues can flourish in as far as topics. I feel, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, but yeah, there's a lot of subject matter out here.
Yeah, I mean, and I can imagine just touring the country like you do. You've got to see, different topics in each area, but there's a lot of consistent topics countrywide too. That's just terrible.
Right.
So,
Right.
Kevin Shirley.
I think,
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I was going to say, I think that, as we all age, I mean, you take more of an interest in what's going on around you now. And it's a lot different, I think, than, maybe 20 years ago for someone like myself and the rest of the guys in the band. I mean, we were more fancy free and all that stuff like that. But like I said, as you get older, you pay more attention to everything around you. People have families now, and all these things are of issue.
It's funny that you say that because I've had that conversation recently where I think when you're younger, everybody's kind of liberal and free, and then somewhere in the middle of your life, 25, 30, maybe even the early 40s, you might get more conservative, at least on fiscal things. And then as you pass the age of 40 and start looking around, and like you say, you have kids and you have, things that you want to think about in the future, you start looking at stuff that doesn't make sense. And again, paying attention more and realizing, boy, there's a lot of things that don't make a lot of sense. Tearing apart other countries, with your military doesn't make a lot of sense.
Right.
Destroying your economy doesn't make a lot of sense. There's just a lot of things that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
like we know, a lot of good subject matter.
For sure, absolutely. And the other thing too is I think it's going to get better. So I think your 17th studio album is going to be about how better things got. That's what I think. I really think things are getting better.
That's what it's all about. You bring them up to the forefront, and you all get together and you try to solve them.
That's right. Correct. And now Kevin Shirley produced this album. Isn't he? Is this the guy I'm thinking of? He's kind of a rock and roll producer, right?
He's known as a rock and roll producer, and he really knows his business. And we had a really good time working with Kevin. He likes to work really quickly, which is like the way we've always tried to do. Not to spend a lot of time on something to where you wear out the flavor of a song and it becomes too sterile.
Right.
So we worked really quickly, and Kevin had a lot of great ideas, from the songs that he heard us bring in, and did a great job of producing the record. So my hats off to him.
And it's like you say, you can go into a studio and just destroy a song and destroy the feel of an album just by overworking it. And sometimes it's hard in modern recording techniques because there's so many things that you can tweak digitally.
So many things you can tweak, so many things you can do, and so many ways, like you said, to mess up something that should just be taken from its natural state and just record it. So that's with everything, like you said, with everything that's available to everybody, in the recording studios. It's so easy to fall into that trap.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, and things have gotten so good that you could be doing it on your tour bus right now. I mean, it's that good,
Oh yeah.
I mean, but you could take a track and add, delete, change, cut, paste. Take this breath out of here, stick it over there, and you can go crazy. You go crazy with yourself after a while. All right, so June 18th, you are going to be at the Tralf, my friend. August 28th, Nothing But Love comes out. RobertCrayBand.com is where people can keep up with what's going on with you, correct?
Yeah, and then also on our Facebook site, Robert Cray Music.
Robert Cray Music on Facebook. It has been truly an honor to talk to the bass player of Otis Day and the Knights. I wanted to ask you that question so bad. And I think the listeners are going to be like, what is he talking about,
Yeah.
So, and we're going to be down at the Tralf the 28th. We're going to see you then, and safe travels, my friend. I'm sorry, we're going to be at the Tralf.
Thank you very much.
But we're going to be at the Tralf the 18th. We're going to get your album the 28th. We're going to be the Tralf the 18th.
Thanks, Rich.
It's been an honor, my friend.
All right, thank you.